Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. Well, I trust you enjoyed my commentary on the Electric Light Orchestra from last time where we looked at the album A New World Record and how ELO had become a world force at that time. And actually, the record company at the time knew they were on a good thing, and so they signed Electric Light Orchestra and Jeff Lynne up for a 5-album record deal. They knew they were on a good thing and they wanted to make sure that ELO stayed with them. So, riding on a crest of a wave, it was time for a new album and to build on what had happened in the past. And so Jeff Lynne decided to lock himself away in his Swiss chalet, as you do, for a 3.5 week period. And he wrote the 17 songs for the next 1977 release. And he brought it back to the band, and over a 2-month period, they recorded what would become a multi-platinum selling album out of the blue. It was a double album, and as had been started with the New World Record, we started to see the Electric Light Orchestra spaceship, and it became an image that they would use not only on their album covers but also in their live concerts. So Out of the Blue has some iconic tracks on it: Turn to Stone, It's Over, Sweet Talking Woman. It's got a concerto for the rainy day, which including Standing in the Rain, Summer and Lightning. We've also got crowd favourites Stepping Out and Wild West Hero. And there are many other tracks, and yes, I know ELO fans out there, I know I'm missing a big song out, but we'll get to that song in a minute, because it is the song I'm going to be focusing on today. I mean, how can you not focus on that song when you're talking about the Electric Light Orchestra? But we'll get onto that in a minute. So Electric Light Orchestra released this album, and you know there were millions of albums sold even before it was released due to pre-sales. And so it was time to tour in their own right. And so they embarked on a 92-date world tour, which included 7 continuous sold-out nights at Wembley Stadium. That had never happened before, and ELO had well and truly found a fan base in their home country. This tour included a big massive spaceship, it included lasers, it included absolutely iconic sound, it included everything to make the Electric Light Orchestra, as was highlighted in the US, the big night out. And so this tour well and truly cemented the Electric Light Orchestra as one of the biggest selling acts of the day. And the lineup was pretty stable, and they were enjoying playing live. And Jeff was continuing to establish himself not just as a songwriter, he was establishing himself as a singer, as a guitarist, and also a producer, because he was the one who was producing the ELO albums. It seemed like he needed to do everything himself because he had the vision and the dream in his head that he could just execute so easily. It's a bit of a story around the writing of the track that I have not mentioned yet. And ELO fans, you know where I'm going with this, I reckon. Because when Jeff was sitting in his chalet in Switzerland, as you do, he looked out the window. He was looking for inspiration to write these songs, and it was just grey. It was rainy, it was overcast, and he couldn't see a thing out of his window. It does not lend itself to cohesive writing or an inspirational moment. And he thought, well, this is going to be a waste of time. I'm going to write nothing. And apparently after about 5 days, the overcastness cleared, and what he saw took his breath away. He saw mountains, saw blue sky, hint. And he went, wow. And it was that incredible image that Jeff saw that led him to write Mr. Blue Sky. Now, Mr. Blue Sky is probably the most favourite ELO song by fans. It's also a song that was recently voted the most happiest song of all time. And I know it featured a little bit in the, I think it was the opening or closing ceremony of the London Olympic Games. Just a little tease of it. It's a song that everybody loves. And Jeff, given that beautiful, iconic view of the mountains, was able to write that. And then he went on to write the rest of the songs for that album over a 3.5 week period. Absolutely incredible, because when you think about an album of 17 tracks, there's probably more like 40 songs that were considered for that album, and he settled on the final 17. Interestingly, in a later release, 3 more songs were added to that album to make it 20. Some really good songs that were added later when all these albums were remastered. So Mr. Blue Sky became a bit of a staple in the Electric Light Orchestra's set list. In fact, many of the songs in Out of the Blue are in the set list. So flashes of inspiration in Switzerland. I just wonder, even now, as you're looking outside your window, let's call it symbolic, I suppose, and all you're seeing is grey and overcast. You're not seeing much light, and you're not seeing much hope even. I wonder how much light needs to start coming into your window for you to take notice. Because you know what, there's something quite familiar about saying in sorrow and darkness. It sometimes feels easier to do that than to look into the light. Sometimes it's easier just to stay where we are and just not want to look out. But there is hope in Mr. Blue Sky. There is hope that there is light in this world. I reckon there's light in all of our worlds. It's just sometimes we don't know where that is, and we look and we think, where is this light? But there is light, because you're alive, you've got blood pumping through your veins. That's a good start. And I think maybe the light comes through connection with others. I know it's hard to do that at the moment, but it's quite amazing how human beings have found a way to connect, even though it has been difficult, because our need for connection is just really, really real. And I think if anything, the world has taken note of that fact. So hopefully when we come out of the other side of this COVID-19 thing, we'll see the desire for connection more and more. So I think maybe the light can be found in the closest connection point for you. So whether you go to a local community centre or the library, just anywhere, the light's probably not going to be in the house where you are. The light's going to be outside somewhere when you connect with others. and it may turn into something wonderful and beautiful and surprising and uplifting, just as the song Mr. Blue Sky is. I think there's a train of thought to say that when we make a decision to do something, we've actually got to do it within 48 hours, otherwise it just won't happen. And so the encouragement for you today is to plan about what that will look like tomorrow. So I hope that this will be an encouragement for you if you are feeling like you're in a dark place. Look for the light, look for the place which will bring life to you. So onto the clips today. I've had to put 3 clips in today because this is such an iconic album that I needed to actually do this. So what we have is obviously Mr. Blue Sky. I've had to go for a fairly recent performance of this one, probably I think it's around 2014. Again, we see just what the song can be like when you've got really, really good technology and you've got a lot of people on stage. In this particular clip, it's good to see Richard Tandy on piano here, one of the keyboard player that's been with the ELO ever since they started, pretty much. I don't think Richard's that well, and my well wishes to him, but it's great to see him playing here. And you notice the vocoder thing that he uses when the voice sounds funny. That's a famous Electric Light Orchestra trademark. I've also included Turn to Stone. That's another iconic favourite, ELO fan favourite. There's a particular bit in the middle that everyone's just waiting to hear. You'll know it when you hear it because it's just really, really cool. And I've also needed to include Standing in the Rain. You'll see just how incredible Jeff's songwriting is, and in a sense he's created an orchestral work here. Because Standing in the Rain started off a suite called Concerto for a Rainy Day, of which Mr. Blue Sky was the final bit of that. And so I've needed to include Standing in the Rain as well. That's going back to the 1978 tour, it looks like, because we've got the big massive spaceship there. Apparently they needed a number of semi-trailers to get that round to the 92 to that tour that they did. So yeah, those 3 songs. And I've also included my commentary on what did I do last time. Thinking. Oh, it's gone. I'll come to a minute. What album was it? It was a New World Record. That's right. The album was a New World Record, and the song was Living Thing. That's right. Thank you for your patience, Sarah. Got there eventually. I actually do these videos live. I don't edit anything out, so what comes out is what you get. I think there's something quite organic and nice about that. So yes, a New World Record and Living Thing. That was the song that I did last time. So that one's there. The commentary for that song's there as well. Now again, as I always do at the end of my videos, if you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. And also subscribe and click on that little bell and click on all, and you'll get an email every time I post a video, which is about twice a week. And if you'd like me to look at any songs through this series, by all means, please leave a comment below and we can have a look at that. So until next time, when we further continue looking at the Electric Light Orchestra and their answer to what was becoming the disco phenomenon, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.